Hey everyone, Dan here. Before we get into it, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button. And keep in mind that these are my own thoughts, opinions, and ideas. These are not meant to be, nor should you take them as, investment or trading advice in any way, shape, or form. Do your own due diligence, put in the work for yourself, and make your decisions based on that. Enjoy! Alright folks, here we are on Wednesday, May 1st. We're going to take a look at AMD today. So AMD had earnings come out. You see here that also a bunch of analysts have put out their maintain or their target prices or both. And the market, for the time being at least, selling off a little bit on AMD, but you see just a ton of news and analyst ratings and whatnot coming out after the release itself. So chart-wise, I actually didn't add anything to the chart, but let's zoom in and see where we're situated sort of intraday at the moment. So these are levels that we've had on the chart for many months, maybe years at this point, but 146.39 for the time being is a little bit of a support level. We saw that at the sell-off after hours yesterday, as it sort of dipped a little bit below down to 143 and then quickly regained this 146 level. Couldn't make a run at 150.66 and rejected it again in the pre-market today, and came down and refound support at 146.39. So I'm going to watch both of these levels very closely. Does 146.39 give way? Right? Does it dip down there again? And at some point, the buyers just aren't there anymore. All the buyers that were at that level have already bought, and there's a bit of a capitulation at that level. Or, do folks feel that it dipping that low, being that right now it's at about 150 and it's down over 5%, is a push below 146 just impalatable for the market, and they will continue to sort of hold it above that level. If it does rise above 150.66, and especially if it sort of, comes down and reconfirms off of it, that could be an interesting level for it to push off of. We do have a level up here then at 158.74 and at 162.20. Now, if it does lose that 146.39 level, the levels that I have here below are 140.20 and 133.75. There are some additional levels to the upside if it does sort of reverse course here, come up quickly, fill the gap that it's left today, 174.50 and 184.92. If it drops below that 133.75, we can come back and take a look if folks are interested. Potentially a pretty strong level here around like 109, but that's quite far away. Something here around like 123 sort of makes sense to me, and maybe around 128, though I would have to take a better look. Like I say, we could do that if folks are interested. That 128 level might be kind of thin, but I would need to take a better look. Now on the think or swim side of things, trigger back here, not super close to the current motion, but that set off sort of an initial counter move up and then a pretty big sell-off from like 227 down to about 147 or so. And so, not the cleanest move on the TTM squeeze indicator, but it certainly caught or called out that move. Now, where the candle is situated at the moment is actually just on the lower bound of the channel. So trying to find support off of the lower bound of the channel on this study, 146.01 is the lower bound of the channel, 175.56 is the upper bound. So it has a lot of room to move upward if it wants to stay in the channel. And if it gets to that all-important test or retest of the mid-range of the channel, I was testing it just yesterday, 160.80 is currently where that is situated. So that's, to me, both of these, or basically all three of these, are pretty important levels if it's able to kind of try to push back against the sellers today. This like 146 lower bound, this 153 mid lower bound of the channel, right, that gray line right there, and then 160 being that mid-range of the channel. So I'm going to have a strong watch on each of those as well as we come through the day. But, for the time being, it's looks like a bit of a question as it's rejecting again off of that 150.66. We could pull in the EMAs here really quick just to sort of get a check on the intraday EMAs. Yeah, so this is a little bit of the tough thing unless it's able to flip it. That 183 EMA is situated right now right at about 150. So it's situated just under this 150.66. So you sort of have two things at play. You have the EMA, which it's coming toward it. It's going to provide a resistance level. And that's situated just below the 150.66, especially as the stock is being this volatile. It can, as you see, it can jump between those really quickly. The flip side of that coin is if it's able to push through it and confirm support, it may have really strong support off of the 150.66 level that we have here, but also then we would know that the 183 EMA would be really tight in as well. And so that could provide really strong support if it's able to flip it. Right now it's acting as resistance, but what we look for from any of these levels is for it to flip, right? That's when the move comes. It's like you have a resistance level, flips as support. That's when you make your move as a trader. Same thing to the downside. You have a support level that flips to resistance. That's when you make your move as a trader. So could be quite an interesting day to see what happens with this 150.66 level as it's trying to go again. Same thing I said with the buyers continuing to show up at 146. Same thing happens at the 150 level. Do sellers continue to sell at that level? At what point have you exhausted? Everyone who's wanted to sell at that level has already gotten out. And so then we're able to get a nice big green candle straight through it and a push that can carry on for quite some time. And that's when you may get a push and then a reconfirm of support off of the previous resistance level. So right now it's trying that at the moment. We'll see if it's able to clearly and concretely confirm that as support, but could be a really strong move for it if that's the case. Like I said, just sort of bulls outlasting or exhausting the sellers that existed at that level. They may not even be bears, but just the people who were, who were trying to sell, who had maybe a limit sell or something at that level. All right, folks, I hope that you have a happy hump day. And as always, I appreciate you watching, and I will see you in the next video.